I currently live in Dorchester with my mom and my dad. My current job is actually as a stand-in sous chef for my best friend at her restaurant in Oakville. I think my first year as a camper was 1999 at a March break camp. And I only remember this because I went down the tractor path on a sled. And then my last year on staff would have been, I'm pretty positive it was 2012. So I went from camper to CIT. Well, I went camper, LIT, CIT, counselor. I did program staff. I was a wilderness counselor. I was the wilderness programmer. I was program director. I did rainbow counseling. I think that's all the jobs that I had at camp. I think that's all of them, yes. The best word that describes my time would be growth. That's a toughie. I think my favorite one would be Princess Pat, but I think I also loved every other song. So I started at Pearce Williams when I was a kid. It's just down the road from when we grew up, from my granny and papa's house. My mom used to go to Pearce Williams for 4-H when she was a kid. So did my aunts and uncles, but they only really stayed for a day. Then when I was in college, I went through for culinary school. That was pretty much because my granny on my mom's side used to own a little restaurant in Shedden, Ontario, just down the road from Pearce Williams. And then my grandma, so my dad's mom, she just always baked, always cooked. So baking's a big thing in my life. So I've used my cooking and baking skills to be able to travel all over the place. So that's kind of what led me to where I am now. Oh, it's actually from when I was a kid. When I was a camper one year, I don't even remember what the week was, but I just remember the whole week at camp, they taught all of us how to sing the song Celebration. Like, celebrate good times, come on. So, like, 50 campers, when all the parents showed up, we were all lined up in specific ways. So, like, your short people are in front, taller as your back, your counselors are on the sides. And instead of doing, like, closing campfires where the parents could show up, we used to just do like a little thing on Friday nights when they picked us up. And that's what we did. We just sung Celebration and all the parents joined in. So the only week that we ever did that, or that I remember obviously, it was just like a group of like 70 to 80 people just singing Celebration up by Pierce Hall. The one thing I've learned is to always have a plan, but always to be loose with your plan. So sometimes I wouldn't say I fully have a plan, but I kind of know what I want to do or where I want to be. But I know that there is not just one road to get there. And camps taught me that just because you have a final destination and you wanted to go down path A, you can pick path A through Z and still end up at the same destination. And maybe you found a path that'll actually lead you there that was better than the original path that you intended on taking. I think one of my best pieces that I've ever received is to do something that scares you. Because it might look scary, but in the end, you're going to be like, if I didn't do that, I would have regretted it my whole life. I'm currently reading actually a book. Well, I have it. I'm going to start later today. A book called Salt and Sour. I do recommend this to adults, not to children. But it is a girl that actually grew up in the small town beside ours called Thorndale. She's now a chef in London. She used to own a shop in St. Thomas, so a lot of people actually might know who she is. Her name's Chef Yoda, and she used to make little green meals. And she just wrote a cookbook slash memoir kind of about her cooking experience, and it really hit home as somebody that has kind of been like, do I want to stay cooking? Do I want to leave cooking? And just her experiences cooking and traveling and meeting new people. And it's really, really inspiring. She's a very inspiring human being. My two people would be Katie Atkinson, or Sunshine, and Vicky Close, or Spatula. So Katie Atkinson, or Sunshine, she's from when I was a camper, and her name literally suits, it just encompasses her as a person. She was always a ray of sunshine, never saw her without a smile. She was always enthusiastic, and she was one of my greatest memories when I was a camper. Spatula, we went to camp together and also worked together. And she is the same thing. She is just one of the most amazing human beings. Her whole family is just some of the most generous people I've ever met in my life. And I just had the best time with both of them in my camp experiences. I think people should support Pearce Williams because even if you've never been to camp, um, I guess more people would understand if they've been to camp, but you can't really grasp the family that you like receive from camp once you get there. I came in as a shy kid, kind of a troublemaker, didn't really know what I was doing with myself. And camp has taught me so many things that without that I can thank them specifically for. So I've been told multiple times that I have a great power in just like walking into a room and taking charge and being able to lead without just standing there waving, being like, hello, I'm the one in charge, you need to listen to me type things. And I would never have learned that from camp. And because of that, it's gotten me literally to get a phone call one day saying, I need you to be my sous chef. I know you're going to be the best person for it. Can you be here in 2 weeks? Type thing. And that is fully correlates all back to everything I've learned at camp. Again, learned to roll with the punches when I was there. Camp has taught me so many skills that I would never learn anywhere else. And I think that camp, especially Pearce Williams for me, has done such an amazing time to not only show the kids that maybe always would have access to camp, but also campers and families that wouldn't just be able to be like, I can afford to do this for a week. One of my favorite things of camp is to see that kids of all ages, all kind of family situations, life situations, people from all over the world are allowed to experience camp, and camps all over the world. And we just always have that tie. I actually met a really, really good friend when I was living in BC, and we clicked really, really fast, and I couldn't figure out why. And he's from Australia, and it was actually because he had spent 3 summers as a counselor working at like an all summer camp. And everything that we could like talk about, nobody else could figure out why we could connect in those ways. And like funny little stories that I'd be like, oh my gosh, I have the exact same story, but like this instead, or like mine was up in wilderness, whereas yours was on the boat, blah, blah, blah. So I think just being able to gift kids with the opportunity to find themselves and to make new friends is why I think Pearce Williams and all camps should be supported. Look at me, and I only messed up once.